Are you not breaking walls because you're a trick shotter and you need those walls?
No, well, yes and no.
What's going on, Jam Fam? Welcome back to the Gaming Station. So today we're going to be doing a How to Frank podcast because one of the last podcasts I did was the How to Bowl podcast with Atrix, and I thought that was really informative and really good topic to talk about. So I got Ro on the line today. Everyone knows Ro. How you doing, man?
Yeah, all good.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So, if you guys don't know, you wouldn't really know this by looking at Ro's channel because mostly he plays Mortis, but he's actually a self-proclaimed Frank enthusiast slash main. How did that come about, Ro? Like, how did you choose Frank as, like, quote unquote your main?
Well, actually, he's been my main for forever. He was my first brawler to get above rank 25 2 years ago, actually. I got him to 865. I think it was late 2018, actually. I haven't pushed above that again, so yeah, he's always been my main, and I've really enjoyed playing him, to be honest. He's always been underrated, and he's got a really weird mechanic, so it's always interested me.
Yeah, that stop when you attack mechanic, it's really hard to play around for a lot of people. 825 though, man, that's really impressive. As you know, like my highest is 750, and you helped me get there, so
That was fun.
Yeah, that went smoother than I thought it was gonna go, honestly. So what about Frank do you like really like that made you like gravitate towards him to be like your main brawler?
To be honest, I think it was his insane health. I tend to do a lot better with tankier brawlers. Like, most of my tanks are above rank 25. But I can't seem to work well with like really squishy brawlers like throwers, whatever. They just don't work for me. I think it's because I have a really aggressive playstyle. So even if I make a mistake, I've got the extra help to get out of there if I overcommit.
True. Yeah, I guess that's a big buffer for that, especially with Frank, because he has the most health in the game. Even if you're not running Sponge, he still has the most health. So I guess that goes a long way.
Yeah, it's like 11,000 health or something these days. It's crazy.
I feel really bad. I forgot to mention that you got level 1 Frank to 750.
Yeah, that's fairly recent though. So yeah. Actually, that was a pain. I was going. Well, actually, I first attempted this in 2019. I think it was 2019. And I was at 728 or something. I was live streaming it. I kept on going up and down. I never wanted to try again because it was so much pain when I was a few games away. But yeah, recently, I with the help of Kevboy, I managed to do it, and one random, actually. We always had a random teammate who didn't have a full team, so that was quite difficult. But we got there, and it's difficult.
So what inspired just pushing a level 1 Frank in general? Was it just like to practice more, or was it just like a challenge?
Yeah, I think it was just a challenge, to be honest. I think originally, actually, when I got him on my second account, which at the time, my second account was really low, now it's like 15,000 trophies. But at the time, I didn't have like enough PowerPoints to upgrade Frank, so I just wanted to push with him. And I got him to 500 so easily that I really wanted to push ahead more and see what I could do. So ever since then, I've just stuck with that, seeing how far I can get.
Yeah, and you finally got him to 750, which is, and I mean, level 1 750 is insane. Like it took me forever to get to 750 with BB, and I got her maxed out, and I still needed team help to do that. So, I mean, obviously, like you said, you had Kevboy with you, but I mean, not having a full team and being a level 1 brawler is still very hard.
Yeah, it doesn't stop there though, because I want to go for 800 this season, Power 1, so see how that goes.
I'm sure you'll make a short about that when you hit it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So the first the first question I want to ask pertaining to Frank is, what is your preferred star power for him?
It used to be Power Grab, but now it's Health. I found that, having extra health just applies so much more pressure, especially in Brawl Ball, because you can pretty much just walk that ball all the way in if they don't have someone like a Shelly or a Daryl that does insane DPS.
Yeah, there's not many brawlers that can deal with Frank is when he's just charging right at them. The best you could do is like slow him down with like a brawler like Ems or Ems can counter Frank, but I mean like if you have like a Barley, the best you could do is like slow down his speed.
Yeah, exactly. So, and if you can just dodge a bit with Frank and just dodge one or two of their shots, it's so useful.
Right. So Sponge is your preferred star power for him. What do you think would make gem grab better, or not gem grab, power grab better? What do you think would make it more viable in the meta?
I was thinking about this actually some point the other day, and I just realized that it's probably the only star power that you can't really do too much to, because you can't lengthen the duration, because then it would practically last the whole match. It's already like, what, 20 seconds, 15 seconds, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Then the extra damage is an insane amount of extra damage. It's what, 2,700, I think, a shot with when he's killed somebody.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. It's because you got a damage buff as well recently.
Right.
So you can't go anywhere near him. So all the enemies have to do is just run away. So what are you going to do? You're going to buff damage? He'd be absolutely insane. There's no way that you could counter it. You're going to buff the duration? It's going to last the whole match. It's going to be insane. You can't... I mean, what else are you going to do to it? Apart from, even if you try changing the mechanics, how can you change killing somebody and getting a ability from that? You can't. It's a set mechanic. So I think it's probably one of the only star powers that just can't be changed and not be overpowered.
What if they went back to the old mechanic where it dropped a skull on the ground and you had to pick up the skull to get your buff? Do you think that would be better, or do you think it would still be hard to play around?
I think it'd be quite hard to play around, to be honest, because it would be a lot more distractions as well in the field. I think that's one of the reasons why they removed it in the first place, is that it's a lot more visuals to look at and keep track of. But also the fact that you can just have them all stacked up. I think you can stack them back in the day. I can't remember though, but
yeah, they had
stack them all up.
They had like a 10-second duration for you to pick them up. But
yeah, so if you kill 3 people, you get 3 of the skulls, and don't know if the duration would stack, whatever. But I don't know, because I think he'd be quite weak then, because what if he killed somebody, but he didn't there's still 2 people in the enemy team that are alive to kill Frank? That's the problem. Then you can't pick up that skull.
Yeah, you can't push up to go get the skull.
And if it's only 10-second duration or something like that, he's not going to get it. That star power is just useless, to be honest.
Well, we'll talk about it in a second, but there would be some nice synergy with his new gadget, the pulling gadget, with that, if they move back to that mechanic, because then you could pull people into you when you get them down to their last shot. Or, yeah, when you get them down to 1 shot, you could pull them into you, and then that would bring the skull to you. I mean, that would be the one mechanic I think would work well with that new gadget.
Yeah, that could work, but that's going to be a very high-level thing for people to do. Actually, no. No, that would work, but I think you'd find a lot of the time people would fully run away from Frank if they saw that they were low health.
Right.
And he had that star power. So
once they notice he's got that star power. Right. All right. So, well, let's segue into gadgets now. So, your preferred gadget for Frank, what do you think?
Second gadget, 100%.
I did not see that coming.
Really?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. When the first gadget came out, I was so disappointed with it, because certain supers that knock Frank back or stop him using his super still got affected by, even when he used that gadget. I can't remember which brawlers it was in particular, but it's quite a few of them where he still got knocked out of his super when he used the gadget, which is really annoying, because that's kind of the point of the super for him, of the gadget, is for his super to not be interrupted. So ever since I've had that experience, I've never liked going back to that gadget. And I've actually found quite a lot of success with this gadget, because being able to pull people in, even if they're shotgunners, means that your team can probably hit most of the shots on them. You can practically auto-aim the shots because they're so close. And although it's kind of hard if you use the gadget and miss a shot, that's kind of sad. But over time you adjust to it, and then you can pull out some insane plays, like in gem grab. If they've got the gems, get 1 shot on them, pull them in. Brawl Ball, if you're trying to shoot the ball, just activate gadget, shoot the ball and pull them in so that they can't pick up the ball. There's a lot of cool mechanics you can do with it, and I think once you get a hang of it, it's such a good gadget that it's honestly one of the best in the game.
Wow, you're talking about some big brain plays, talking about shooting the ball and then pulling people so they can't catch the ball. See, I don't even know if I have that gadget, but even if I do, I know I don't play Frank enough to know that I should switch over to it. So like I've always thought that his first gadget was better, just because the fact that you can prevent yourself from being knocked out of your super. And I know there's like a mechanic where, like, if you pop it just as Gene starts to pull you, you can break Gene's pull and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't see that coming though.
Yeah. No, I think it's a higher skill cap star power. Sorry, gadget. But I think that if the noise cancelling headphones can be very useful if you're not very good with baiting out the enemy's supers.
Yeah, if you're not good at baiting and you don't know, you forget that, or that people have knockbacks and stuff. That's like the one good situation for it for sure. But like you said, being able to pull people towards you so your team can focus fire them. That's a very good move to play with. And then obviously, like you said, the crazy plays when, like in Brawl Ball, when you shoot past people and stuff like that. I
love it so much.
Yeah, that's something I would have thought of doing personally. So what are like your favorite matchups to face when you're playing with Frank personally?
Honestly, I think it's Shelly, BB, and Primo are my three favorite to face when I'm playing Frank.
Is that just because you can win that matchup personally, or is that because you think Frank can actually deal with those pretty well?
I think it's a mixture of both. Just over time, I have learned how to counter those brawlers, but I think if you just keep your range on all of them and you don't feed them super, you can easily counter them. Like especially BB. BB can't get any damage on you unless she's right in front of you, and if you just walk away a little bit after each attack, you'll damage her, but you'll still not get hit by her, so she can't knock you back or deal an insane amount of damage to you.
I mean, I know personally as a BB main, I'm not afraid of Franks because I will stay away from them, but like when I'm running up to them, I'll hit them with the knockback and then I'll just back off because I know after that there's no point in chasing them down.
Yeah. But I think probably the easiest matchups, as long as they don't have super, would be Bull, Primo, and maybe brawlers that do hardly any damage, like I don't know, a Penny or something like that. You know?
Someone's like Poco, like you could just ignore their damage and just eat all their shots.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Let's focus on Shelly because that's a really weird matchup. Like, why do you feel like you match up well against Shelly? Just because you have so much health, or is it like you do more damage at max range or something like that?
Shelly's only 3 shots for Frank. I'm pretty sure that's right now.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's 3 shots for Frank, and most of the time she won't be full health anyway, because if it's 3v3, which she should be playing Frank in 3v3, she'll have some damage done to her. That's another big thing I really love about Frank. You only need 3 shots to get your super, and even if you land your super, you only need 2 more shots. So you always have your super, and that's why you normally have the advantage. Whereas Shelly, she can't get her super if you keep at range from her. Because I'm pretty sure it's 3 basic attacks at very close range to get her super, whereas Frank is whatever range he likes, and it's 3 basic attacks.
Right.
So normally he wins the super battle, which gives him a huge advantage over Shelly.
So now that we talked about good matchups, do you want to move on to bad matchups now?
Yes, well, a very recent addition to the game would be the very, very, very top of my list here. I think you can guess who that is.
It's either going to be Belle or... Oh, crap, what's his name? Stu. Stu.
Stuart.
Stuart.
Yes, it's Stuart.
Oh, God, I hate Stuart.
He's such a pain because his knockback is about half a second duration. Like you're flying through the air for half a second, and he can attack during that half a second. So you can do absolutely nothing if he gets close to you for about 5 to 6 seconds, and by that time he'll have killed you, or his teammates will have killed you. I've had this problem so many times when I've been in 3v3 in Brawl Ball that it's honestly got on my nerves. It's so annoying.
I've learned that too the hard way playing BB, because BB literally cannot attack him because of her windup. She cannot get a shot off on this dude, and he charges her.
Exactly. Because both BB and Frank have a long duration before their attack does anything.
Yep.
BB's bat is what, half second, and Frank's is probably maybe, I don't know,
it's probably
third of a second or something.
It's about probably close to a half second at least.
Exactly. Whereas most brawlers in the game are just
instant.
Out. Right? That's it. Your shot's over. Yeah. But I think, it's Stu's just absolutely destroys brawlers like that. I think the dev team are gonna have to find a way to balance Stu against brawlers like that, to be honest, because otherwise it's a dead matchup for Frank. He can't do anything.
As long as he's in the game, you're not going to be able to play Frank or BB or something like that faced up against him. And I think that's going to be a big problem in competitive if they don't ban him. Is that he makes brawlers like that totally unviable. Are there any other brawlers that you would consider like terrible matchups?
Jessie if she has turret, because that turret deals so much damage if you try to take it out, because obviously it'll just target you. You can't avoid it because you're stopping when you're attacking. The turret's going to get, it's like 400 a shot, I think, from the turret, and it's so quick.
And then forget about it if she's got that spark plug one, that spark plug gadget.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just insane.
What about...
and Amber as well.
This is exactly who I was going to ask
Still, yeah, exactly. Amber... I think if you play extremely well as Frank, you'll just about be able to win the matchup. But any good Amber, any player that has Amber 600 or above even can beat a Frank. All you have to do is keep your range general to win.
Yep. As long as you stay out of her range. And now her reload speed is kind of bad. Like once you fully drain out her ammo, now it takes forever to get her full ammo charge back up. So after she's out of shots, you can charge her.
Yeah, pretty much. And if you've got that pull gadget, pull her towards you, she can't escape.
Yeah, and then it's another thing I noticed about Amber is that she can't really do a ton of damage when she's too close to somebody. Where she gets a lot of her value is when people are charging at her. What about like Ems? You just want to make sure you're staying out of her range too.
Ems is alright, to be honest, because we have Ems and Frank has the same range as far as I'm aware. Maybe Ems is a little bit longer, but not much at all. So I think that it's just a game of not going too aggressive and walking into her shots.
Right.
It's like when you have a 1v1, for instance, like I don't know, Piper 1v1 in that special map. You just gotta dodge and take your time and be patient. So most of the time, it's just an even matchup, in my opinion.
Just a poke fight for the most part.
Yep.
And how about Colette? Because she's supposed to be tailor-made to counter tanks, but how do you feel about like Frank versus Colette?
Actually, most of the time I'd say absolutely fine, but earlier today, actually, I was doing Frank in the championship.
Mm-hmm.
I was helping my friend with a Mortis only, and the Colette did 4,480 damage to me in one shot without her gadget.
Without her gadget? What?
without her gadget, because I was taking Sponge, right? Okay. So I had 11,000 health. I was like, wait, hold up. She can practically 3-shot me. Obviously, it's less damage as the less health he gets.
Right.
She'll get her super in 3 shots, and then her super, no matter what level of health you are, does 2,280 both directions. So 2,280 one way, 2,280 the other. Oh. So if you're getting hit by her super, that's another 4,000 whatever it is damage.
Mm-hmm.
But all she needs is 2 shots in her super, and you're dead, which is crazy to think a 1,000 health board gets killed so quickly.
Yeah, that's insane. So that's definitely
so recently, I would say keep out of the way of Frank.
Yep. Or just
make sure that
avoid Colettes as much as you can. So now that we talked about matchups, touched on star powers, talked about gadgets a little bit, what are your preferred modes to play Frank in? Like if you're like trying to seriously push him.
Well, I pushed him in Brawl Ball only actually the whole way. And there was this map. What was it called again? It's Sunny Soccer. That's what it's called. I remember now. It's Sunny Soccer. So the way that map works is that you've got 5 lanes. There's middle, and then there's 2. Then there's some boxes separating, and there's another 2. Frank can take the right hand side 3 lanes and make sure that no one gets past there, which applies so much pressure that if they have tanks or anything, they're pushed all the way back, then he can get really good value. And if they've got someone, even like a Stu, you can use those walls that are around them to stop getting hit constantly by those supers. So I find Brawl Ball's really useful for that. Whereas in gem grab maps, you don't see as many walls. Even on the most walliest maps, there's no walls comparison to Brawl Ball.
Yeah, it's far less walled off.
Yeah, and actually that's another big thing. That map is very open, so if you are it's very open towards the goal. So pretty much once you break the middle walls, you have a clear line straight to the goal. So obviously I do a lot of trick shotting, so I can get some good value off shots like that on that map. I guess that's kind of why I did it on that map, because I got a fair few nice shots on it as well.
How do you feel about Frank with like trick shots and stuff? Do you think he's viable with that, or is it just like he's not mobile enough to make it work?
For trick shots, I think Frank does actually do quite well, because if you're trying to aim a trick shot, you're standing there for a long time. You do have time because of the extra health, whereas if you're trying to do a trick shot with dynamite, for instance, you don't have long to aim the shot. So actually, at the very start of me doing my trick shots, that Frank was all I used. Literally in every single clip you can see on my channel from 2 years back, it's just Frank trick shots, and it was so much fun. But yeah, Brawl Ball 100%, because there's a lot of pressure and your teammates can capitalize on that by scoring or team wiping very, very easily.
Right. Yeah, and then obviously Frank has the ability to open up their side of the map if he wants to, and that stun can come in clutch when you're on defense and stuff like that. So makes sense.
100%. I think when I was pushing my power 1, I was still getting triple supers on 34, 35k players, because they just don't expect it and don't realize that Frank can just absolutely annihilate them if they're not careful. I think that's a really good thing about Frank. He's got such a big surprise factor that, if you play him right, he can absolutely dominate in Brawl Ball.
For sure. So I know I would think that Siege is a decent mode for him, depending on the map. Obviously, you don't want to play him on the open ones like Factory Rush or anything, but like on the more walled-off maps, I think he would be decent, right?
Yeah, I think he's all right in Siege. I think it's Bot Drop that he's terrible in, which is the current championship map, actually. He's absolutely terrible in it, because it's all totally open, and that's Frank's biggest weakness. So yeah, I think he's all right in some Siege maps. If you have a good team, you must have a good team. If you got some people running around getting themselves killed, you're just going to be targeted and you'll be dead in a few seconds. I think Frank's very much a team player, because like if you can stun someone, your teammates will be there most likely to also aim a few shots and they're dead.
For sure. Yeah, so basically don't play Frank in Siege with randoms. Got it.
Frank in Siege is just terrible if you're playing, I would say, low trophies, which is, most of the time you say, low trophies, the game mode doesn't matter as much because it's low trophies, not as competitive. But actually, I find it a lot harder to push Frank low trophies than high trophies if it's Siege.
Yeah. I mean, it is nice that Frank can like stun the Ike and stun the bot when he's on defense, but if you don't have somebody to help you burst down people once you get him stunned, it's not exactly a great time for him.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that's actually, I didn't even think about that. He's really good at just picking up the bolts and taking them back and surviving because of that amount of health. So that's probably another thing that makes him so viable in Siege.
Yep, just scoop up the bolts and run. Can you advise people on what playstyle they should try to adapt for each game mode? So for like gem grab, we're not going to talk about bounty because you shouldn't play Frank and bounty at all. But
actually, well, depends on the map.
You play him in bounty?
I did play him in bounty. I played both Frank and bounty at 800 at one point. That's when Bo's turret was really good before it got nerfed twice. Yeah. But yeah, I don't recommend playing in bounty, especially if you're new to playing Frank.
For sure. So all right, so let's talk about gem grab. How would you play him when you're in gem grab?
Well, he needs to be gem carrier first of all. I'm pretty sure that's obvious because of his amazing amount of health. But I think you want to be playing a way more defensive role most of the time than you would in Brawl Ball, for instance, because it's honestly just waiting for your time and not giving them supers. If they get supers, they're going to punish you so hard. You're going to lose control totally. And with Frank, you want to keep as much control as you can because it's hard to get back into it because if he's trying to attack to get back into the fight, obviously, as we've talked about so many times, he stops. So it's such a buffer and they can't really get back into it. So you need to play more defensively and try to keep control. But you don't want to be walking back all the way to your spawn at the same time.
All right, so play defensive. Try not to feed super, which I think it's a huge thing for Frank is to not feed super. and then try to maintain your control as much as possible. Cool.
100%.
All right. How about Brawl Ball?
Brawl Ball goes pretty much very aggressive, but know your matchups. I think that's one of the biggest things about Frank is knowing what matchups you personally are best at dealing with. Like I said, I like Frank, Primo, Shelly. If you're good, for instance, at facing, I don't know, maybe someone like a Daryl, where you're good at dodging their rolls, then you can actually do quite well against them, and it will give you control. So I think know your matchup, and once you kill one brawler, you can go as aggressive as you like, because it's likely that they're going to be bunched up because they're retreating back. So you and your teammates can help group them together and take absolute control over.
Are you preferring to break walls with his super, or are you trying to just get kills with it?
I never ever bother about breaking walls with his super. It's purely trying to stun them. I'll even break my own walls if I need to, just to stun them on defense. Even if they're not going to score or nowhere near scoring, I 100% will stun them, because I'll get my super back. And most of the time, once you've got your super, you have that control, so it doesn't matter too much.
Fair enough. Are you not breaking walls because you're a trick shotter and you need those walls?
No, well, yes and no. That's not the only reason, I swear.
All right. Plead the fifth on that. All right. So how about Hotzone? Do you play him in Hotzone at all, or no?
This is one map in Hotzone. I think it might be the current Hotzone map, actually. It's the one in the challenge, actually, as well. That is actually really, really good for Frank. It's got those walls halfway through the Hotzone, like it kind of splits the Hotzone in half, where you can get behind the walls and wait for them to try group around and kill you. And if you just walk back a tiny bit so they don't get as many shots on you, you can get your super and stun them over the other side of the wall, which is one time where I will want to break the walls, because you can obviously attack them with your basic attack a lot easier. In that one Hotzone map, he's really solid, but in general, I'd say don't, because you're going to be a big target and a really easy brawler to kill.
I like him from my small experience with Frank. I like him in the single zone maps just because he's so good at holding down the zone by himself. Because he's got a ton of health, and if you can dodge shots with him, you're decent. And then on top of that, you can get his stun and get easy kills. But that's just me personally.
Yeah, no, I've not really played him, if I'm going to be honest, much in any of the other Hotzone maps, so I might try that. But yeah, I reckon his extra health compared to everyone else's brawlers will help him a lot. Maybe if you had like a Byron or anything, because Byron's still so strong at the moment, it could actually work quite well.
Yeah, even Poco to pocket him with Decapo is still a good combo too, I think.
Especially since Poco got buffed recently.
Yep. How about, all right, so we talked on Siege a little bit, focus on collecting bolts and using your stun to play defense. Anything else on that?
Try break. Actually, okay, I lied. Try break their walls that's blocking their Ike if they have it. So there's this one map at the moment where there's walls just completely blocking their Ike. So you have to, the bot has to walk around the walls, break those walls, because otherwise your bot's never going to get anywhere near the Ike safe.
Okay, so yeah, make sure the Ike has an open lane, open lane for the Ikes for the bot to get through. Cool.
100%.
Did I miss any modes? Showdown?
Yeah, actually, Showdown is the first time that I pushed my Frank Power 1 to 700.
Ugh.
I was actually able to do that without any teaming at all, which is really, really good, because everyone else was just teaming and targeting Frank. It's so annoying.
Look at you.
But I just don't have any tips whatsoever for Showdown with Frank. It's very much a hit or miss, whether you're good at it or how the game goes. People either target you or be totally afraid by you. It really depends.
Fair enough. Showdown's kind of its own beast, so it's hard to give tips because every match is going to be its own independent thing. Do you have a preferred map for Showdown for Frank or no?
That would be Feast or Famine.
Are you a rush the middle guy, or do you just hang out towards the edge?
Both at the same time. I will rush the middle after maybe 10 seconds into the match when people have started to attack each other, because that way I'm not targeted straight away, which means I don't die straight away, because I'm obviously the easiest person to kill as a Frank, especially if there's, shotgunners hiding in the bushes where I can't see them.
Yep. Or more than one person focuses on you, and you can't, focus your shot on that person.
Yeah. If you get those boxes in the middle as Frank, you're gonna win the match. There's no doubt about it.
For sure. Because then you're gonna have like at least 5 power cubes, and then it's impossible to stop Frank.
Yeah, it's like 14,000 health.
I feel like we're missing one mode.
Heist.
No, Heist. We missed Heist, but you're not really playing Frank and Heist, right?
Not most. Occasionally, I am actually. I don't anymore though. But I don't recommend it. I used to, but not on these maps that are in the current rotation. They're all really bad for Frank, unfortunately.
Yeah. Heist has kind of moved away from a tank heavy meta to more of a ranged meta.
Yeah, it has, unfortunately.
You'll get like GG Mortuary, or I can't think of the other one where it's got like the open lanes in the middle of the grass, or the open lanes on the edges and the grass in the middle. Can't think of the name of it, but
yeah, it's horrible.
We'll move on to the next question. So we'll talk about like techniques or any tips for Frank in general.
Biggest tip for Frank. Actually, there's one thing that used to be really good. Now people expect it, where you're holding your super, and then use your normal attack straight away after letting go of the super, but not using your super, because that makes the enemy think that you've used your super, which means the Shelly will, for instance, super you if she's at range, and all you'll waste is your normal attack, which then means you can then super the Shelly, and she's stunned. It's a fake super is what it's called. It used to be really, really popular, but nowadays people just know how to avoid it, or how to know that he's going to fake it, which is a shame.
I'm sure I've bitten on that a couple times, trying to people bait supers out of you for that, or they make you wait. Or if you're playing a brawler with like a dash, like a tick or max, you get them to dash away from you, burn one of their gadgets.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's what Frank's really good at, just baiting things out in front of people. Really big tip that I found helped me out a lot is that if you are holding your super, aiming it, the enemy are going to notice it so easily. They're going to start backing off, and you're never going to get any super value. But if you think about where you're going to super and then flick it as fast as you can, it's unlikely that the enemy will see it coming, and then they'll probably get hit by your stun. And in some cases, all of them will get hit by a stun, and then you can just chain supers, and it's so much fun.
Is Frank's reload speed, just real quick, talk about his mechanic real quick. His reload speed, is it kind of like BB's, where you can almost consider it a 4-shot attack? Because BB, you can basically consider it a 4-shot attack, because by the time she's done with her 3rd shot, she reloaded 1 ammo. Is Frank the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's partially why I love facing Shelly's, is the fact that even if she does super you back and interrupts your super or your attack, you can just shoot 3 times again, get your super back if you really need it.
What advice would you give to someone who's struggling getting used to Frank's normal attack pattern?
Just play him a ton, and don't worry about if you're landing all your shots. Worry about who you're going up against, because you're gonna struggle with Frank because he's probably the most unique, maybe excluding Mortis, in the game. His attack, obviously, it's so confusing the way that he does stop when he attacks, but I think the best way to do it is to attack, then move slightly in one direction, then attack again. You don't want to be standing still for all of your attacks. You want to move a little bit after each attack, so that if people are auto-aiming, as you probably would against a Frank, you won't get hit by their shots.
Cool. So just adjust your position after every single attack.
Re-attack.
Yep.
Every single attack.
That makes sense, because you see people like just try to go hog wild with Frank's attacks, and then they always end up getting bursted down because he's just sitting duck at that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you talked about how you like to use the pulling star power or gadget. And you talked about how like you pull people through the ball and stuff. Is there any other techniques you like to use that you pull them out of position for your teammates to burst them down? Anything else?
Throwers, if you're close to a thrower, just pulling them in means that you're going to be able to kill them straight away, because most of the time they're just two shots to you. And just get, especially if they are trying to use the walls to avoid you, if you can try fake which way you're going around the wall and use a gadget, you'll kill them for sure. I think that's pretty much all you can do though, really, with the gadget. Pull people away from hot zones, I guess. I actually made this insane play in one of the hot zone games where they had 99%. I pulled them out of the way of the hot zone, and then my team finished it and got 100%, and they are still on 99%.
Oh, man.
Which they wouldn't. Exactly, which is absolutely perfect. I was so happy I got that.
I would be so mad.
Yeah, but it's just good for little things like that. I guess you can interrupt people's supers as well with the gadget. I've not really done that very much though. It's kind of difficult to time.
All right. You got any like closing thoughts or tips before we wrap this up?
Remember that even though he does have the most insane health in the game, he's still he's still maybe 2 shots each from the enemy team. So you got to be careful of who's around you.
So just make sure you're not feeding too much super. Try to stay behind walls. Yeah. Don't be out in the open just because you're a tank.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, as always, man, I really appreciate you coming on the channel, and I want to say congratulations because you're almost to 100,000 subs now. You're at like what, 95,000 right now?
Yeah, I think like 90, 96 almost now. So we're getting there. Almost there.
And as of recording this video, you're what, 50 hours short of monetization. So you're like right there.
Yeah, I should get that tomorrow. So by the time it goes out, I should be able to apply.
Yeah, man. Good for you, man. I'm excited. That's awesome. Congrats.
Excited to get advertised on. Woo.
All right, guys. Well, I say this every time he's on, but you guys should definitely go sub to Row Shorts. Catch his live streams, catch his shorts, because he pumps at least 1 out every day, if not 3. And they're always high quality edits. So as always, bro, thanks for coming on again.
Thank you very much. And if you guys aren't subscribed to Jam already, you know what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube-y thing, guys. All right, boys, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.